The Department of Home Affairs officials are under investigation for alleged involvement in fraud committed by Chidimma Adetshina's mother. The department announced on August 7th that there were prima facie reasons to believe fraud and identity theft may have been committed by the woman listed in Home Affairs records. To expand on this, we speak now to Willem Els, who's a senior training coordinator at the Institute for Security Studies. Willem, very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. As we learn of these revelations around identity fraud and the possibilities of what could have happened for this to now come out in the open and be under investigation, what factors needed to be considered to establish what we've just learned about Chidimma's mother?
Yes, good evening to you. So what emanated from the case, and that was also came out in the speech of the minister yesterday in Parliament, was that apparently with the assistance of three of the Home Affairs officials, one who has died subsequently, the mother she actually committed fraud. They took the identity of someone who was born more or less the same time, but also who gave birth to a baby around the same time. And what happened was, when this lady then apparently wanted to register her baby, she could not do so because her identity number was taken by someone else.
Is identity fraud a common occurrence?
It seems that it's common. You know, there was a report or investigation by the Director General in the President's office from 2004 to 2020. They looked at all the permits as well as the visas that have been issued by the Department of Home Affairs, and the outcome was, or the decision was, that it just exposed the rot, as it is stated in the report, in Home Affairs, and they also urged that it needed urgent modernization because of the rampant corruption and abuse by the system, by the people working there.
They spoke quite a great deal. We heard Minister of Home Affairs Leon Schreiber speaking about the need and the urgency that should be taken around strides to ensure digital transformation. How much of an impact will that have on ensuring that there are perhaps less chances of matters like this happening and people's identities being stolen?
You see, the biggest problem at the moment is the human interaction that is allowed to take place, or the human interface that is still there, and it allows for these syndicates to compromise these officials working at Home Affairs, and then they can, for instance, if you look at the Libyans that were in the news until recently, yes. Apparently their visas were handwritten, and the moment you apply, you afford that opportunity for any of these documents to be handwritten, it opens the way for corruption to come in. And so the moment you digitize it, it limits that possibility. It's not going to stop it completely, because you know these syndicates are very good on technology. They're exploiting technology, and also they would try and invent new ways of corrupting and working with these people at Home Affairs. But it will put up that more hurdles for them, that it will make it more difficult for them to commit fraud.
How does one know that their identity has been stolen? I mean, what are the checks and balances that one would have to take to get a sense and understanding of whether or not they've become a victim to this?
Yeah, unfortunately, the first time most people find out that their identity has been stolen is when that person that stole the identity go and make a lot of debt, and they don't, and they put this person into bad debt, and then this person who has not actually signed for that debt is supposed to pay for it, or his or her name is being tainted. They then can't get any loans. They can't get, they've got a bad name and credits. So at the end of the day, it is detrimental for that person from that perspective. But also, like in the case of this mother whose identity is supposedly being stolen, she could not register her baby. It makes it extremely difficult for this person then to fight and to prove that she is actually who she is and not that other person.
I mean, we learnt of this from a young lady who wanted to enter a competition, hoping to win Miss South Africa as a contestant. As we try and establish the fault here, I mean, she has withdrawn from the pageant. How do we place her? Do we place her as a victim? Is her mother, like, how does one place her as you try and make sense of the bigger picture and the allegations that are before her mother?
Well, you know, she was a baby when that happened, so she's definitely a victim. And apparently the Department of Home Affairs sent out a letter or a notice to her mother on the 7th of August, where she has to come and explain what happened there as part of the investigation. So it seems that the mother conspired to commit this fraud with the officials at Home Affairs. But we must just understand that this is not an isolated case, and it's also not something that was committed by the mother. It is something where they use organized crime syndicates that thrive and that facilitate this for the people that want to commit fraud.
How does one report identity theft? As soon as you establish it from whatever debt and you've been called and you know that you're not responsible for whatever debt you've been held accountable for, what are the steps that one should take?
Well, in the first place, we will have to approach the police because that's a crime. That's a crime that has been committed or alleged crime. And you'll have to go and register a case and also then take a sworn statement by the police taken from you. And then they will have to investigate it. That is the route that you have to follow because at the end of the day, you know, they are the people who have to investigate crime. We know all the challenges there, but that is unfortunately our only option.
So when it comes to the woman whose identity was allegedly stolen, what steps should she be taking to get some sense of accountability and justice?
Well, at the end of the day, fortunately to her, that this case came out in the open. It came under the attention of the new minister who's cleaning up and who got drive. So her case came to the fore, and they handed the case to the Hawks for investigation. So obviously they will approach her, they will get her statement, and then in due course she will receive justice when these perpetrators are brought to book.
Yeah. And very lastly, Willem, you touched briefly as you expanded on the role that you believe digital transformation would play at the Home Affairs Department. Do you think that it's the most effective strategy or just one of many others that can be implemented to clean up the department?
I think it's a good start, and that will obviously create a better environment and a safer environment to work in. But also, you know, we have to look at other options as well. We have to look at monitoring options. We have to look at strengthening the hands of the counter-corruption unit within the department in order to stamp out these crimes. They can start to look at, for instance, the wearing of body cams by people who are in contact with the public, just to that safety mechanism that will prevent people from being enticed to do corrupt deeds. So we have to look at a more holistic approach, where I think a good start is to start with the digitalization of the system. And then also one thing that we must just understand, you know, Home Affairs is not doing very well at the moment. And as we saw, and what the minister also mentioned, is that they are about 41% capacitated. So we will have to invest in the department in order to appoint more people, but also to train those people and to deliver a better service to our people.